I'm Harrison Graham. This is Chicago Bears Now. Let's dive into the latest on the Bears coaching search. The latest on Ben Johnson coming from ESPN is that if Mike Vrabel were to land with the New England Patriots, it would likely come down to the Bears and Jags for Johnson's services. Here's Dan Graziano of ESPN. He said, I think he'll have interest in that job, talking about the Bears. Jobs with the good young quarterback are the most likely for Johnson, though maybe Chicago and Jacksonville more so than the Patriots because they might be locked in on Vrabel. Now, as far as Ben Johnson's interview schedule goes, Adam Schefter actually just tweeted an update on this. Let me see if this is the same. I do know the Bears interview is on Saturday morning. So it's Patriots Friday morning, Raiders Friday night, Bears Saturday morning, Jags Saturday night. So that is correct. Just if you flipped Patriots Raiders in terms of AM PM. But he's got 4 interviews over the next 2 days starting tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. I think for Jacksonville, if this report is correct, it would come down to the Bears and Jags. I think Trent Baalke's role would have to change. If Trent Baalke is the GM in Jacksonville and has full player personnel control, I find it hard to believe that Ben Johnson would take that job considering how selective he's been. Now, if Johnson would have more say in player personnel or if they move Baalke into more of like a senior advisory role or something like that and Johnson had say on who the GM was, that could change the calculus. But if Vrabel goes to New England, I think given the Trent Baalke factor, the Bears would have the favorite over the Jags in terms of the chances of landing Ben Johnson. More from Graziano here as he says, I expect Johnson will take a head coaching job this cycle. He has been squirrely about it the last couple of years, but people I talk to close to the situation believes he's in a different frame of mind and expect him to embrace the opportunity if it's offered, which I believe it will be. And yeah, certainly between these 4 gigs interviewing him, you would feel very strongly that at least one, if not multiple, will offer him to be their head coach. So what is your confidence level in the Bears landing Ben Johnson if that's who they want? Scale from 1 to 10, 1 being you're not confident at all, 10 being very confident. I'd probably be right in the middle at like a 5. I'm mildly optimistic, but I got to see this Vrabel domino drop first. Kind of feels like he's the first domino to drop. Is he going to end up in New England? Do the Raiders get in the mix after firing Tom Telesco? Maybe Tom Brady, kind of throws a Hail Mary at Vrabel like, hey, we fired our GM and coach. We want you to run the show here. You can bring in whoever you want. Going to be interesting, no question about it. Scale from 1 to 10. How confident are you in the Bears' chances of landing Johnson? All right, let's get to the latest on Thomas Brown, who, of course, was the interim head coach to finish the season for Chicago. The Seahawks are going to bring him in to interview for their vacant OC gig. They, of course, fired Ryan Grubb after his first season as Seattle's offensive coordinator. I think something to remember here is that Thomas Brown was having to run Shane Waldron's playbook in offense. He was straight up asked after the season, like, hey, if you got to work with Caleb and got to stay here, how different would the offense look? And he said very different. So I think it's pretty clear that conceptually wise, playbook wise, you would see a lot of different wrinkles and a lot of different scheme if he, regardless of where he goes, whether it's staying in Chicago in some role or going to Seattle or somewhere else. Now, he is expected to interview for the Bears head coaching gig at some point. Have not seen a confirmed date on that. Maybe it already happened and it just hasn't been announced. Who knows? But that is something that is expected. Ryan Pohl said himself that they will interview Thomas Brown. So keep an eye on that. I think his interview with Seattle is on Saturday. So stay tuned as they look to replace Ryan Grubb. Look, regardless of what happens, I don't think he'll be the head coach here next year. I think there's a small scenario he's back on staff, depending on how things play out for him with his opportunities and whoever the Bears' next head coach is. But I wish him well no matter what. I mean, the fact that this guy went from pass game coordinator to OC to head coach, was running an offense that isn't his offense. They beat the Packers on the way out. I mean, I think he did the best he could with what he was given. I don't think he's quite ready to be a head coach, but I think there are qualities there that people clearly like, and I certainly like as well. So I wish TB well, regardless of where he ends up. Okay, let's talk about our sponsor, Rocket Money, a personal finance app that can help you find and cancel subscriptions that you no longer want. What it will do is list out your subscriptions once you sync up your bank account with Rocket Money at rocketmoney.com/bearsnow. All on one screen, you'll see every subscription you're paying for. Maybe you're paying $12 for this, $18 for that, $9 for that. Most Americans think they're spending $62 per month on subscriptions. The reality is that number is closer to $300. Don't believe me? Sign up with Rocket Money and take a look for yourself. I've canceled several subscriptions since getting going with Rocket Money. It's saving me a ton of money on a monthly and annual basis. I had a couple of streaming services I had completely forgotten that I had signed up for. My wife and I also realized that, whoa, we're each signed up for the same streaming service. Don't need to both double down on that. So one of us canceled one of those. You'll just be surprised at how much money you're spending on things that you literally don't even use. And, we all need to stay on top of our finances, our budget, especially if you're like me. You got a house mortgage, you got a 20-month-old, which comes with a lot of bills. Scale back on your spending, stay on top of your budgets, and just kind of daily, easy financial app. I like it better than any banking app I've ever used. So check out Rocket Money today, rocketmoney.com/bearsnow. They've saved their customers $500 million in canceled subscriptions alone. Tons of other features, like I mentioned, including checking your credit score. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Links in the comments and in the description. It's rocketmoney.com/bearsnow to sign up and download the app today. Okay, latest on the coaching search. Anthony Weaver interviewed this morning. That is the Bears' third completed interview, as the Dolphins' defensive coordinator has knocked that out. So they have met virtually with Mike Vrabel, of course, the former Titans head coach. He was a consultant with Cleveland this year. Cardinals' offensive coordinator, Drew Petzing. I saw some rumors on Twitter, who knows if they're true or not, that interview went badly. So who knows, but I never really took him seriously regardless as a head coaching candidate. And then Anthony Weaver finished his as well. So as far as where it goes from here, Mike Kafka, Pete Carroll, according to the reports, interviewing today as well. I would say that Carroll one is one to monitor. I don't really view Kafka as a serious candidate at this point. Obviously, he's got the connection to Poles from his time with the Chiefs. He played at Northwestern, so there are some connections there, but I just don't think his qualifications stack up with a lot of these other candidates that the Bears are interviewing at this point in time. We're trying to get to 113,000 subscribers here on the channel. We're so close. We're 148 away. Let's keep this thing rolling. Full coverage every day. It's 100% free. We don't charge a dime. We appreciate your love, your support. Spread the word to all of your Bears friends, and let's get this channel across 113,000. Okay, speaking of Pete Carroll, Richard Sherman hopped on Up and Adams with Kay Adams and was asked straight up, should the Bears hire Pete Carroll? He said, yeah, I think the Bears should hire him. I think he's going to get a coaching job just because he's a culture builder. Everyone has gotten this cutesy mindset of offensive genius, defensive genius, and they have forgotten about building culture of a team. He's built with young quarterbacks. He's built with quarterbacks that people have thrown away. He's had success building defense. All the pieces are there for him to be successful. Obviously, Pete Carroll is a good football coach. Obviously, he had a great run in Seattle. Well above 500, won a Super Bowl, should have won another one, 5 division titles, several other playoff appearances, 10 playoff wins, 10-9 overall, which if you're above 500 in the playoffs, that's a very, very good mark. I've said it since the Christmas Day report dropped from Adam Schefter. A, they should interview him, and B, he's a good fallback option. We know he would reset the culture in Chicago, which is something that is needed. We know that his floor is, probably at least hovering around 500, which is an improvement. He is 73. Can he put together a staff to contend for deep playoff runs in the NFC? He's obviously well connected. It makes me nervous given his age. And at the end of Seattle, it was kind of like they were ready to push him out, their fan base. Like, he was still doing a decent job, but I don't know, man. It kind of tells me a lot about where you are as a franchise. Like, if you have to hire Pete Carroll, it's like we have either A, so little faith that we can pick the right guy, or B, we swung and missed on our top guys because no one wanted to come here, that we had no choice but to hire Pete Carroll. Again, he'd be a good fallback option. He would be a floor raiser. But if you can't do better than 73-year-old Pete Carroll, that's kind of an indictment on the Bears franchise. Wouldn't mind it, but certainly wouldn't view it as a home run. Would you be happy with Pete Carroll? Y for yes, in for no. Give me your take in the comment section below. I would be kind of, it's fine, but certainly wouldn't love it. Give us your thoughts on that. Okay, real quick, quick news item here from Albert Breer. Ian Cunningham has been requested to interview for the Titans general manager opening. He was a finalist there 2 years ago when they hired Rand Carthon, who just got fired a couple of days ago. And Breer has the note. He's got a relationship with their president, Chad Brinker. As you guys know, or if you don't, if Ian Cunningham were to get a GM job, the Bears would get 2 third-round compensatory draft picks as a upward move for a minority candidate to become a GM. So we'll see if that happens. Obviously, that would help you get more draft capital. He's been Ryan Poles' lieutenant here. He came from Philly. Some people say he's probably better than Poles. Who knows? But he's been well-respected. He's been in the mix for GM jobs the last couple of years. We'll have to wait and see if this is the one for him. All right, that's going to do it for Chicago Bears Now. Continue to support the channel. We appreciate it. Daily content here on this channel for free. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, like the video. See you next time. Bear down.